What's going on, people? Tony here, and this is Football Fan TV, back again with yet another episode, another edition with my brother Benji here on the pod again. Benji, how you doing, man?
Feeling good, feeling zen out here in nature. You know,
Yeah,
just chilling, bro. Chilling, waiting for the weekend as usual. How you doing, bro?
I'm not really so bad, but I think there's this Rona thing. I think another wave. I don't know that variant, but I think I've not survived it. But yeah, man, I'm doing the concussions. I'm going to be so good, and the better thing is that Premier League is back here this weekend, and it's going to actually get me much better. And it's good that we're only here two. I think the top two other people have decided to eliminate themselves from the pod for now.
Well said, well said. Hope you get better soon.
Yeah, man, I'm going to be better. So last week we said we are the strong ones, we are the ones who had survived, but the thing couldn't let me just be like this. So
Like we jinxed you. Looks like we jinxed you, eh?
man, cause I thought I was going to survive this thing, but no, 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 no. Anyways, where do we start from? Let's start from the high. Your boy Erling Haaland has won two awards. That's why we can start from the best part of the show. Haaland has won the Football Writers Association Player of the Year, and then he has also won the April EA Player of the Month in the Premier League. So those are two awards for him today. Meanwhile, in the Football Writers Association Awards Player of the Year, there was Haaland as number one, then Bukayo Saka, and then Martin Odegaard in number three. I believe that's how it's going to be at the end of the year or when the season is done.
Yeah. Well, no doubt there. Well, what's impressive is the margin by which he has won it, 82%, which is the highest ever. I think
Yeah.
we have to be honest. His goals and his performances this season have been unmatched, and he's just been smashing records left and right. He's the like ultimate favorite to stand out in any list that has to do with the Premier League. If the Premier League is looking for like an ambassador right now, all roads lead
Mm.
to Haaland, and they'll have to move like trucks of milk for him because he has just been out of this world. And in the month of April, he cemented that with 6 goals and 2 assists, showing us a bit of both worlds, scoring in every game that he played in, all 4 games in April. So yeah, it's totally deserved, and I think it's a big boost ahead of the tough fixtures that we have. Everyone is saying this weekend Everton might be tricky because Pep might overthink ahead of Madrid.
Mm.
But yeah, I
Mm.
feel like it's a good massage to wake him up and get him in shape for this part of the season.
Okay, talking about awards and maybe achievements at the end of the season, which teams do we think make the top four? Because it's getting heated, and looks like Liverpool is going to make a very late charge into the top four, and it's looking so tricky. Understanding on number three is Newcastle because the top two has already been confirmed earlier on, as I said in the pod. Newcastle
Yeah,
comes in number three. They have 65 points. Manchester United has 62, 63. And then Liverpool, who has played an extra game than the two above of them, has 62. And then Spurs has 57 with 35 games played as well. So I think in the remaining games, there's going to be a lot to fight for. These teams are going to either end up crying or they're going to end up happy because looks like Liverpool is going to have a large say in that top four because they have won six straight games all of a sudden.
man, almost from nowhere, and in that real champion way of 1-0, 1-0. So it's kind of interesting. To be honest, I didn't see it coming. I didn't see the surge from them. From like, there was no sign that they're going to have it. People will say it's because Luis Diaz is back, but he hasn't really been the center, the focal point of those wins. So I think it's just that fire that has always been there, which is a bit lulled down this season. It's good for them, though. I really don't think they'll make it to the top four.
Mm. You think they'll not make it?
I think they'll come up short. I think the remaining games they have, Leicester is the most bipolar team after Chelsea this season. Like, when you look at the squad sheet when they come out, they have everything it takes to win matches, but for some reason they're not. So
Mm.
I believe they'll realize that they're going down, and on Monday, Monday night though. They come up against Liverpool on Monday, so I think they'll win that game, Leicester,
Mm,
and then
mm,
when Liverpool plays Aston Villa at Anfield, obviously Liverpool is favourite there, and then the final day of the season they have Southampton, who by that time will already be gone, so most probably will play for the fans because it's their last game in the Premier League, and
yeah.
unpredictable things happen on such days. So I think with 3 matches to go, if Liverpool gets maximum points, they stand a good chance. But I think Newcastle has shown us all season that they belong in the Champions League, and I really feel like they will make it across the line. For Manchester United, there's not so much I can say about their gameplay, but I think they will have enough to make it as well. So I don't see Liverpool in the top four.
Okay.
I think it will be Arsenal,
Man City.
just like it is right
Mm.
now. Man City, Arsenal, Newcastle, and Manu.
Okay, I think also Newcastle will see it through, and also Man U, however much they have lost their last two games, I think they're going to make it to the top four. But I think Liverpool is going to give them also a push until the last game of the season, just like how Arsenal is going to give Manchester City a run for their money until they receive that trophy in the last
I
season.
I really feel like the season will be decided this weekend. We have an interesting
Mm,
game. Everton away. They've just walloped Brighton 5, and pretty much that they need one more game to be safe. What better way to do it than
mm,
beating the reigning champions and title contenders? So I think they'll give too much during this game on Sunday. And
mm.
depending on that game, if we drop points at Everton, then it's a title run. If we don't, the rest of the season is a stroll, I believe. Because after Madrid, all the focus will turn back to the Premier League. And yeah, even if we lose or win Madrid, the focus will be in the Premier League. So I think this weekend is the pivotal season. Sorry, pivotal weekend. Arsenal, Brighton, then Man City, Everton. Good thing they follow each other. So after my
Yeah,
game, I'll be calling you and
you're
making
switching
sure that
us.
making sure that you're ready for yours. So
I
yeah,
think it would be very nice to get into our game either when Manchester City has drawn or when Everton has surprised the world, and then I'll get all the energy to watch the Arsenal Brighton game. Now, talking about the games over the weekend, we have a lot of them lined up. We are going to run through them, and then we are going to have maybe our predictions. The first game on Saturday is Leeds versus Newcastle. Um, I think Newcastle will win this one, really.
I saw something
Yeah,
impressive about Leeds
you on
in
mute,
their game
bro.
against. I saw something impressive against. Sorry, from Leeds in the game against City. Some people even said Madrid played exactly how Leeds played. So I definitely feel like they might pull off a few surprises here and there. They will give Newcastle a run for their money. They're playing at Ellen Road, so it will be an interesting game to watch. But I agree with you. I think the game means a lot to Newcastle, so I predict a Newcastle win, 2-1. And then from there, we'll move on to Southampton, Fulham.
Yeah.
Fulham is not really fighting for anything right now, but I think Mitrovic will be back. Oh, he's
Mm.
already back. Did he play in that 5-3 game
Mitrovic, I
with
didn't see
Leicester?
him in the game, but I believe his ban is over, so he's
Yeah.
supposed to be back. Yeah.
I think it will be the final nail in the coffin for Southampton, unfortunately. And then Chelsea,
Ah,
Nottingham. That's a Nottingham win, yo.
yeah. There's a surprise in that game coming. Eh?
Yeah. The boys in the forest, they're gonna take they're gonna
Yeah.
take they're gonna take it to the Stamford Bridge and just cross over that bridge to safety.
I have a
Because
feeling. I have a feeling it's going to be tight. It's going to be like a 2-1, a 3-2, or a 1-0 for
I'd
Nottingham.
written Nottingham is a team I'd written off. Yeah. When we predicted
Mm,
our teams to go down, I'd written them off. But then I
mm.
watched how they played the other day against Southampton. Of course, it's a weaker opponent, but I think they still have something. I think they still have something.
They play terrorist football and it works out for them.
Perfectly.
It works out for them. Brentford is going to be welcoming West Ham to
Yeah,
London. That's another London derby. Uh,
yeah.
we don't know how, but I think. West Ham has gained momentum from their win against Manchester United, and also in the Conference League, they managed to beat AZ Alkmaar 2-1 yesterday. I have a
Yeah,
feeling they'll take that momentum into the game, and they are going to see Brentford off, though it's not going to be an easy one. I see West Ham
yeah.
winning that game maybe 2-1 or 1-0.
I agree. I think Brentford has been a bit inconsistent in the last few games. They've already achieved, they've surpassed their targets for the season. So I think the team is
Mm,
now just thinking about the summer. Ivan Toney is not as hungry as he has been. Buemo, I think, one of his feet is already in Cameroon. So yeah, I
mm.
think easy one for West Ham. They get over the 40-point mark and guarantee their safety even further. There's an interesting one between Aston Villa and Tottenham, two of the best strikers this season. Watkins against Kane. Tottenham has been leaking goals left and right. I think it will be a tight one as well. Tottenham probably fighting for Europa, but there's a lot going on at Spurs. Like I don't know how they even focus to like play football anymore. There's a lot going on. So much talk. So yeah, I think Aston Villa might get a draw from that one. And then
I
we look
actually
at
think Aston Villa wins that one. I would say it just because Unai has been in that form of whereby he loses a game and he wins another the next one. So I have a feeling he's going to edge Spurs and he's going to win that game, given that he's at home. Go on to the next game.
okay. So does Manu lose three in a row against Wolves, or do they bounce back?
Manu is at home and they're going to bounce back on this one. They are going to win that game.
Okay. Even though I have them in my top four, I feel like they will have a tricky one against Wolves.
They'll
Um,
win this one easily. It will be like a 2-0.
I think Wolves will score, but all right. So
Right.
the two big games, Everton and City, and then on paper they're not big games because Everton is like
Mm.
all the way down. But we have watched football for quite some time, and we know when a team is having a fire.
It's
And right
fighting for
now,
their life. Mm.
yeah, right now you can tell Everton with all that physicality in the midfield and Dominic bullying defenders just like Haaland does. It will not be an easy game. I think Pep is going to rotate the squad heavily ahead of the Madrid game. I don't think Haaland starts that game. So, yeah, it'll be a 50-50 possession game, obviously, for Man City. But, yeah, I think we'll get over the line. We have enough. Alvarez, it could be the game
I,
for Alvarez to book his number against Madrid.
I think Pep is going to overthink that game, and the fact that he's looking at the Madrid game at home is going to heavily rotate, and then like just what Everton did against Arsenal when they managed to beat Arsenal in the first round. They packed the midfield. They had Idrissa Gana, they had Onana, then they had Dokore, all energetic guys, and they're all blacks, and they are going to really overpower that midfield if Guardiola makes a mistake and benches Rodri. It's going to be
Yeah,
a tight game. Yes, they are going to possess Everton the whole time, but Everton is going to hit them with the long balls, the aerial duels. It's going to be a very physical game, which is going to be a tough one. So Man City will win it, but it's not going to be an easy win, according to me. It won't be an easy one because these guys are going to sit back. Sondage is the king of defensive football.
yeah.
If he finishes first half and the first 60 minutes 0-0, just know the best you're going to pick from the game is either a point or maybe a miracle that is going to happen and you just win the game. But I believe you guys have enough to go through it.
That stadium is one of the craziest places when the fans are rallied up. So I think it will also be
Yeah.
tight. Though, of course,
Mm,
Man City has the experience to overcome that. So, yeah. The interesting one, again, Brighton has a bunch of young players who fit into the system, despite us
mm,
not having the edge on this one. They're the second best possession team in the league, easily, after Man
yeah.
City. They
Yeah.
actually outpossessed us the last time we played them. So, I think it will be an interesting one to watch. Arsenal is lethal. I think you've found your goal scoring form. So, yeah, Arsenal wins that game, I believe.
I think the only advantage we have is that we're going to be at home and we've only lost once at home this season. That is to you guys, and the fans at home are really the atmosphere has been the best compared to the other seasons or years. It is really starting to look like it's going to be a fortress. It's going to be I think the next Anfield. The noise that is around. and we'll win the game, I believe, but we will not have a clean sheet. We've had only four of them, I think, this season or three. So Brighton definitely scores in this game, but we are going to see it through and keep the pressure on Man City.
What's your prediction?
I think we win it 3-1.
Okay, I go with 3-2. I go with 3-2.
3-2, yeah. Mm. Yeah,
Okay,
then the final game on Monday. Oh, actually, before the Monday game, there's Crystal Palace and Bournemouth, a silent game, but it's going to be an interesting one. Crystal Palace is at Sellers Park, and they actually, I think I'm going to watch that game. Bournemouth has been surprising people. They lost to Chelsea though over the weekend, but I see them coming back in this one though. It's going to be a tricky one. I think I'll see a draw in this one and a high scoring draw, maybe 2-2, 3-3, with Crystal Palace at home.
I think it's quite insulting to say that you're gonna watch that game instead of the City and Everton game because there's 1 hour,
Oh,
the
they're
1
the
hour
same
apart,
time. I didn't know the time, man.
1 hour, 1 hour apart. Yeah.
Oh,
So you watch City
I
first
think
half and
I'll
then you
watch
start.
both. Yeah, yeah. I switch to the other, and then I can come back to the other because it's going to be an interesting game as well. Much respect to CJ, but yeah, I'm going to watch both of them.
Well, if our first half is anything like I think it will be, you will not even need to watch second half because you will know the result. Olise has been linked to PSG, so there's that in the pipeline. So many people are saying he'll be the perfect fit for the rebuilt PSG squad, which I agree with. If at all they're going
Mm,
to do away from having superstars and everything, so yeah, it'll be an interesting watch. Bournemouth seems unbeatable at the moment, so I think it's a high scoring game that Bournemouth wins. So yeah,
mm.
yeah,
You're rooting for Bournemouth win.
yeah. I am.
Oh, okay, nice. The final game is on Monday, Leicester versus Liverpool. It's the other half of the table versus the other half of the table. So the bottom, and then maybe Liverpool is fighting for a top four. Then Leicester is also fighting for survival. There are going to be surprises in that game, I believe.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I think Leicester at home need to give their fans a much needed boost to remind them that they won the Premier League not so long ago and they belong in the Premier League. So their fate is in their hands. To be honest, this is the game that makes or breaks them. So I think they'll play really, really hard and probably surprise Liverpool. So I think it'll be a 2-1.
2-1 Leicester.
Yeah.
I would agree with you and go with that. Leicester being at home, I have a feeling they'll pull off that shocking win that will at least raise them up on the table and give them a glimpse of survival and all that. So Leicester 2, Liverpool 1. That's my prediction as well.
Okay. So we
Yeah.
have
So if you're liking the content and you're enjoying the content as usual, you know what to do. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications, and then share, like, and comment. Smash the like, yeah, and always tell your friends about the pod as well. So Benji, you were telling me something. Go on.
So yeah, we have some very interesting coaching news in the grapevine.
Yeah.
Marcelo Bielsa, the guy I just talked about a few weeks ago on this pod, uh,
Mm.
and how I miss him and his bucket or stool as they call it. We'll be back in the dugout for Uruguay. Tell me about it. What do you think, Tony?
Uruguay actually has trust in him. This thing has been dragging so long. Fabrizio really confirmed it today that he's going to be becoming the Uruguayan coach until 2026. That is after the World Cup. That's how much they trust him, and yeah, he's going to be, I think, a good fit. The football he brought to the Premier League with Leeds was a good one, and he was really a good manager to watch. And his teams are always well drilled and they're they are so energetic. So I have a feeling he's going to change that Uruguayan team, and it's going to be a different one when they come to the World Cup. And I can't wait to watch Uruguay play under him. Really.
Yeah, I think Uruguay has a bunch of exciting players from all over the pitch. They have a player who's unique in everything they do. They have Arojo from Barcelona. They have Valverde from Madrid, who is like having the season of his life. So they have a very young squad that I think fits properly in the high energy philosophy that this guy plays with. Interestingly, they're now seven teams in South America that are coached by Argentine uh, coaches. So it's like Argentina is
Oh,
taking over the world. They didn't just win the World Cup,
Pochettino,
but
man.
also yeah, they didn't just win the World Cup, but also their coaches are spreading like mushrooms. So
Mm.
aside from Brazil, Peru, and Ecuador, the rest are coached by Argentine, you know, coaches. So I think it will be interesting to watch. Uruguay definitely has a lot of talent. Darwin Nunes and Valverde, as I mentioned, and a lot of homegrown guys who play in their league. So yeah, it will be an interesting watch, and it's good to have him back in the dugout. I think he's a very good talent at his age.
Yeah. Talking about coaches, a Portuguese is close to becoming a coach for Chelsea. That is Mauricio Pochettino, who has been, I think, on holiday. He has been in the Maldives. He has been in the Bahamas, somewhere chilling. But I think it's high time he got back to coaching, and it's reported that he is close to agreeing a deal with Chelsea to become their next permanent coach. I think what has been dragging it long is. He's putting in his marks and he's putting in his words. He wants also his word from the bosses that maybe he will need time, he will need players, he will need time like to instill in his type of play and everything, other than maybe being given half a season and then he's fired. That's what we've been seeing with Chelsea. So I think Pochettino is going to be the next Chelsea coach. I don't know if he's going to be the perfect fit or what. I thought Enrique would do best at Chelsea, but Pochettino being in the league, having been in the league, I mean, with Spurs, and the fact that he knows how to mold young talent, we saw that with Dele Ali those days, and maybe he could come and do good at Chelsea. But the first thing I think is he's going to move away some players, and there's a lot to be moved away from Chelsea. So your thoughts on Pochettino maybe being close to becoming the Chelsea coach?
Well, my brother, first of all, I'd like to correct you. Pochettino is also Argentine. He's not
Argentine,
Portuguese.
he's not
Yeah.
Portuguese.
So
Oh,
it's an Argentine
now
wave uh, going around. So so let's. I
I
think the
thought he
next
was
sport
Portuguese.
we should all have like Argentine flags or something because yeah, I
Argentina's
don't know.
taking over. Eh?
Yeah, they're taking over. Well, he's a good coach. I think tactically you can always tell when his team is playing. They had a clear identity when he was at Tottenham. I remember the Champions League when they got to the finals. His worst like game was the final itself, but all the games before that he knew when to make substitutes. He's like the older version of Simone Inzaghi. Inzaghi this season
Mm,
has subbed in every game they've played, and he has used up all five subs. He starts a game when he knows who is coming out at what point, that sort of thing, which is totally different from what we're seeing from the likes of Pep. Pep
mm,
lately doesn't change the team, especially if it's a draw. He wants to leave things the way
mm,
they are. Same thing he did against Leipzig. So I think Pochettino is a more dynamic thinker and a young, vibrant coach who brings passion to the game. I think he fits
mm.
into the Chelsea system. Of course, like you mentioned, Chelsea has to move like so many players. I think they need to be set free. Loftus Cheek. I think it's time for Ngolo Kante to probably find another home. And
Kante
because I don't
says he's
see
staying. He actually likes the project, so he's not moving.
he does, but you know he takes up quite a chunk of their salary, yeah, of their salary cap. He's quite an expensive
Mm,
player, so I think it helps the team if they can free up that money and bring in the new talent. I think it's time for him to leave.
mm,
Um, and yeah, he's not really a leader in the sense of those vocal guys like Kante. He just plays his
mm,
football, gets his
mm,
job done. So I think they're better off keeping Thiago Silva for one more season as Aspilicueta for like two more seasons, and then the midfield and the attack they can build the team that Pochettino believes in. So it'll be interesting to watch that project next year. I think it's a more exciting project than the Manu project, which I think, yeah,
he's not going anywhere.
not
I
going
wish we
anywhere.
had a Manu person here because
Like,
Manu's project, I really don't see it like so much like a big project because we said one thing. Once Rashford got injured, we said he would not come back with the form, the banging form that he had.
yeah,
And it's really coming to a pass. So I don't know if he's going to get that form of his life again. And that project as well,
it
I
was a
don't
one
know
off.
really.
It was a one off. He
It was a
bagged
one-off.
He's player of the month like 3 times or 4 times last year, but that's it. He'll go back to being the same old Rashford, Martial. Like Man U is just let's not talk about them. They're not here to defend themselves. So yeah, exciting
Well,
projects.
Benji, always a yeah, Benji, always a pleasure to have you on the pod. And like I said, the top two has been on the pod maybe this week and last week. Next week we'll have a full team, a full panel as well. Shout out to Zoe, shout out to Dranix, Johnny, Queen, and then the one and only Isaac, the Chelsea fan. So we'll have them back on the pod, and we are going to be loving life together with them. Laughing at some of them who will both a top four, hopefully, or those who will make a late charge, and those who are safe from relegation. So Benji, cheers, my brother. I think I'll see you on the next one. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. Yeah.
Always a pleasure, bro. Peace up. Get well soon. Let's
Thanks.
keep
Thanks.
going.
Thanks. Thanks.
All
Thanks.
right, bro.